Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about how to multiply rational numbers. When multiplying rational numbers, that's like I said, we're going to be multiplying fractions. I know you know how to multiply whole numbers and decimals. Okay, I put that little chart like we did last time. When you multiply two positives, your answer will be positive. When you multiply two negatives, your answer is going to be positive. And when you multiply one positive by one negative, that will give you a negative answer. And we're going to talk mainly about fraction ones again. So I'm going to show you kind of what I mean here, and then we'll go kind of into what we need on our assignment that you'll have for today. So to multiply fractions, what you will do is, let's say we have negative 3/7 times negative 4/3. Okay, when you're multiplying fractions, the first thing you need to do is have them in a fraction form. And I'll go over how to fix the mixed number in a little bit. Now, the good thing about multiplying fractions is you don't need a common denominator. What that means is these bottom numbers don't have to be the same to multiply them. They only need to be the same to add them. So you're going to start off by taking the two top numbers, 4 and 3, and you're going to multiply them, and that gives you 12. Because a negative 3 times a negative 4, the negative always goes to the top. Negative 3 times negative 4 equals 12. 3 times 7 is 21. And then you'll simplify that if you can. If you can't, that's your answer. And that works for any fraction. And honestly, in my personal opinion, multiplying fractions is one of the easiest things to do. Because we could even take 4/9 and multiply it by 9. Now, I bet you're wondering, how do I multiply a fraction times a whole number? Well, you just take the whole number and you put it over 1. So then you go top times top, gives me 36/9. Okay, and then 36/9 can be simplified down to 4/1, which is the same thing as 4. And then you're done. So you're going to keep doing that. Now, if I gave you 1 1/2 times 3 1/2, that's a little different. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. The easiest way is called the wheel method. And what the wheel method is if you don't remember that, we're going to make that into an improper fraction. So you multiply here first. So you go 2 times 1, and then you add here. That's why I drew that arrow going this way. You go 2 times 1 plus 1. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. And then it's 3/2, because this denominator, this bottom number, will stay the same. Times, and then you do the wheel method here. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7/2. And then you just multiply like we've been doing. So 3 times 7 is 21. 2 times 2 is 4. And I am 100% fine with you leaving your answer like that. So if you leave your answer as 21/4, that is okay by me. Okay, so let's try another one. Let's go 1 1/4 times negative 1 1/5. So you got to start out with the wheel method. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So 5/4 times. Now here we have that negative out front. We're just going to put that little negative sign at the top number. And then you go 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. And then you go top times top. So negative 30/20, which you can simplify down to negative 3/2. And then you're done. And that's how you multiply fractions. Decimals are the same thing as stacking them. So you go 2.9 times 3.6. So you're going to put 3.6 or 2.9 on top. 6 times 9 gives me 54. 23 times 9 is 27, plus 5 is 32. 2 times 6 is 12. And that's going to be 7. So now we add these together. So 4, 4, and 10. And now we have to count our decimal points. And what that means is we want to see how far away our decimal points are from the end. So here, it is 1 spot from the end. Here, it is 1 spot from the end. So what that means is we're going to take our decimal here and move it one spot and then another spot. And your answer is going to be 10.44. And that works for any decimal, even if we did negative 0.2 times 2.8. So 2 times 8 is 16. 0 times 8 is 0 plus 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 0. Now we're going to add these up. 6, 5, 0. And we're going to count our decimals points. So 1 here, 1 here. So that means we're going to move it 2 spots. 0.56. Now we got to deal with this negative. Negative times a positive automatically gives me a negative. So negative 0.56. And that's your answer. And that's how you multiply decimals. Okay, it's one of the easiest things to do. I honestly think multiplying fractions is easier, but a lot of people like to multiply decimals. Now, the last part of your assignment you're going to see today is we're going to simplify these expressions. And you might remember doing this a while ago. It's kind of just a re-up. So first thing we have to do is we have to follow PEMDAS. Okay, so you go 4 times negative 3y. So 4 times negative 3 gives me negative 12y minus 15y. So if it's negative 12 degrees out and the temp's going down 15 degrees, we're going to have negative 27y. Same thing here. We got to do our parentheses first. So do what's in the parentheses first. So 14 plus 2y minus 7. And then we combine what we can. We can only combine the 14 and the 7. So that'll give us 7 plus 2y because we have to subtract those. Okay, same thing on the next one. Do our parentheses first. So negative 2a times negative 3c. You can multiply those together. And what happens when you do that is if I take negative 2 times negative 3, I get 6. And then all you have to do is add the ac at the end. And then plus negative 6 times 6 gives me negative 36. And then y times r is ry. I can't combine these because they're not the same number. So you're done. There would be your answer. Okay, so just know when you're multiplying numbers and decimals and stuff like that, fractions, you take fractions, you go top times top, bottom times bottom. We can do an example here. This might be a little bit of a harder example, but we'll look at it. So here they want us to take 2/5 squared. So 2/5 squared times negative 5/8. Now, when you multiply squared means you're taking 2/5 times 2/5, and then we're multiplying that by negative 5/8. So you go 2 times 2 is 4, times negative 5 is negative 20, 5 times 5 is 25, times 8 is 200, and then you simplify that to negative 1 over 10. Same thing here. They want us to go 2/5 squared times 2/5 squared. So they want 2/5 times 2/5 times 2/5 times 2/5. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. 5 times 5 is 25, times 5 is 125, times 5 is 725. And you can't simplify that, so that's going to be your answer. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, guys. Hopefully we're understanding it. Thanks for watching.